First of all, biblically, you are not supposed to be living with a man who is not your husband. Ring first, lady.
To me, that just doesn't make sense. Like, I just wasted my time to get married to you to realize that we're not compatible.
And you might not always agree with this one person. You might not always want to stick it out with this one person. It's a nice idea. It is a nice idea, but I don't believe there's any sky daddy watching me and making sure that my life unfolds the way I want it to unfold. Yo YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the Big Crash Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about cohabitation, moving in with your partner before you guys are married. Now, a lot of people have a lot of opinions on this, and as of late, a lot of young people actually do start moving in with their partners before they get married. About 70% of people today think that moving in with your partner before getting married is actually a good way to learn about your partner and a good way to learn about the married life. So we're going to talk about this a little bit deeper because not everybody feels the same way. With the resurgence of traditional values within Gen Z, we see a lot of opinions on this matter start to change now. So I got some personal stories. We're going to listen to some other people's opinions, and at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about more stats. If you like what I got going on here, make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I got videos just like this. I like to make videos on music, dating, and culture, just culture stuff in general. Just talk about the world, trying to solve some problems. If you like what I think, like what I got going on, make sure you join. Anyway, we're not gonna waste any more time. Let's get right into this.
So I was literally having this conversation with my homegirl the other day, and she was like, you don't fully know a man until you live with him. Let me break this down to you. First of all, biblically, you are not supposed to be living with a man who is not your husband. Ring first, lady. Okay, say you're not religious. Let me give you some reasons why you shouldn't live with your man. Oh, I don't fully know him until I move in with him. You might be doing extended stays with this man. I can walk into somebody's house or stay with somebody for a week and figure out how they live, how they operate by literally just looking around and paying attention to their everyday habits. Like, it's not hard to see that. Two, when we get married, I'm gonna have my whole life to live with you. I want to live by myself, discover what I do, what I don't like, and judge that, and set those boundaries for when I do live with somebody. Three, sorry to say this, don't wish that on your relationship, but what if y'all break up? Now it's just mad awkward. Now you're just living in the house with a nigga that you don't even, hello! Then you don't want to overplay your part, because why are you giving girlfriend and wife duties to a nigga?
What she mentioned was kind of valid, not really though. What she first mentioned was the fact that she's religious and it's not biblical. Now, I did a little bit of research, and there is no Bible verse that says you cannot live with someone you're not married with. The only thing the Bible says is, don't commit fornication or adultery, and that's not fornication or adultery. You're not doing anything sexual. Now, this is the problem that really comes to mind when I think about this topic on the internet, just because a lot of people bring their own religious values into this. Sadly, I'm not going to defer to your opinion. When you get your opinions from a book that also promotes some very heinous things, it's not the best book about morality. Let's be so for real. Again, there is no verse in the Bible that says you can't live with your girlfriend, you can't live with your boyfriend. That verse does not exist. And so she went on to explain how you don't need to live with somebody. You could just see them. You could just see how they live day to day. You could just see how they are for a week, and then you can make your decision. Which I would say maybe it depends on the person, because if you don't live with somebody and you come over, you do overnight stays, they're gonna clean, they're gonna make sure everything looks spotless and nice. Just because you're not a permanent resident, you are a visitor still. The minute you start living with somebody, a new sense of comfort sets in, and that comfort will show you how they actually operate when nobody else is around, when they think nobody else is watching. Yes, technically you are watching, but when you get to that point of comfort, it's almost like nobody's watching at all. It's like, oh yeah, it's just my other person here. He's always here. He always sees how I'm doing. So I'm just gonna live my life. I lived with somebody before, so I seen that change. I seen how, you think somebody's real up and good. I'm not gonna say she was the worst in the world or dirty or anything, but she didn't clean all the time. So it's like, yeah, behaviors do change once you actually move in with somebody. Whether you're married or not, you're gonna see a whole different side of that person. You're gonna see what their life is like at home. I believe in astrology, so that's the guide in my life. That's what I look for. And in astrology, part of your chart, you have the fourth house. The fourth house shows what you do at home, how you are at home, what your private life looks like, what you do when nobody else is around, how you comfort yourself, and how you do self-care, stuff like that. So knowing that this is just a part of your psyche, where you're living, your living space is just a part of your psyche, because the opposite of the fourth house is the 10th house. The 10th house is your career, your public life, how people see you when you step outside of your house. So I really understand that life is all about compartmentalization. If that's how you say the word, I think that's how you say it.
Compartmentalization.
But life is all about deciding who you are depending on your environment. When you're alone with your girlfriend is different from being alone with your mom. When you're alone, when you're out and about partying, is totally different when you're just with a couple of friends. There's two different personalities, two different energies that you utilize. So when I apply this to this situation, when I apply astrology to cohabitation, I really understand that I'm seeing a whole different side of this person. It's not this person completely. It's not who this person actually is. It's not like it's their true colors. It's just a part of their being, a part of their essence. And whether or not I like that part is for me to choose, but I understand the shift in energy and why it's important to see somebody in their most natural state like that. Lastly, she said that girls shouldn't be giving husbands wifey material, shouldn't be doing wifey things for somebody until it's a ring on it. And I'm like, living with somebody is wifey? Like, I don't know. That's not wifey energy. Just because I asked a girl to move in with me don't mean she doing anything else, really. And if I ask you to move in with me, more than likely I'm paying the bills, right? More than likely I'm still working and doing everything. I'm still taking you out on dates. You're gonna expect that from me, right? You're still gonna expect dates. Even when you move in or not, it don't matter. So you're gonna get husband material, husband treatment regardless. Just because you move in with somebody don't mean you're giving them wifey treatment. You could just be their roommate and you live with them. I don't understand that mentality, but then again, she's religious, so I don't understand the mentality at all. I do not base my moral principles off of a book that was written 2,000 years ago and that also approved of slavery. So I'm not gonna even get too much more into that. I don't think her reasons are that valid. I definitely understand what she's saying though. I just think she didn't think too hard about it, and if you think about it a little bit harder, there is no real reason that moving in before versus after marriage is any big difference, to be honest. We're gonna get into some stats later on just because it's a little controversial there, but we're gonna get into stats and I'm gonna explain a little bit better. But we're also gonna listen to why some women think it is okay, why some people think it is okay. So I don't wanna just give my opinion, let's get somebody else's too.
I am a believer that you should move in before marriage. Either that or spend multiple nights together. Spend a week together to make sure that y'all are compatible. Because now I get it. No moving in before marriage, sex before marriage. I get all of that. But at the same time, when you decide to do it that way and then you move in with somebody and then you realize that y'all are not going to work, y'all can't live together, you can't put up with certain things that they do, to me, that just doesn't make sense. Like, I just wasted my time getting married to you to realize that we're not compatible. So I definitely feel like everybody should experience each other. You know, when you're in a relationship, something serious, and that person is somebody that you potentially want in your life for the rest of your life, I love the idea of moving together before y'all get married, because don't even sit up and waste your time.
What she said is pretty much my point exactly. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to get around somebody and see how they are in their private life and then decide that you don't like that, but you're already married. She said you can spend about a week with somebody and see it. I would say, yeah, maybe. I would say about a month. I would say you need at least 2 months to really understand somebody. I think people pick up and drop habits. People are constantly changing and stuff like that. So if you want to see any type of consistent trait, if you want to see any type of persistent problems that they have in their life, you have to be around them for about a month, because people drop and stop habits a lot. They actually do change a lot. I'm not saying they're going to change in some Jurassic way where they become the worst person ever, but at the same time, you might realize, oh, that person doesn't like to shower every day, and I like to shower every day, so I don't really like that. I think that's kind of nasty. I didn't know she was like that. Now that I know, I have a whole different opinion about her or him, you know? And I think the view on this definitely changes depending on your gender, because like the last woman said, you don't want to be giving wifey actions to a man that isn't your husband. I understand that, but at the same time, as a man, you don't want to get married to somebody that you don't know if you're even really compatible with. You don't know how she treats her home, and you're already married. And if she decides to leave, or now you don't want to be with her, that comes with a lot of repercussions for the man more than anything. So I understand a woman saying, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get married, because if she gets divorced, there's no big problem for her. In fact, if she gets divorced, 9 times out of 10, she's gonna benefit from that divorce. So there really is no loss for her, especially if she really don't like the man and she's just trying to get that opportunity to take something from him. Then I think a lot of women would, I'm not gonna say a lot of women, I think a few women would take that opportunity if they could. So if you're a man and you just want to make sure this girl is good with you, then yeah, move her in for about a month and then make your decision on whether or not you're gonna bow the knee, if you're gonna get on that one knee and make her your wife, because you don't know how she'll change. You don't know how she'll switch up, and once people get comfortable, they switch up 100% guaranteed. But the biggest concern about this whole topic is the divorce rates between couples that cohabitate versus couples that don't cohabitate. So the Institute for Family Studies went and put out a research paper, and it says that 34% of couples that moved in before they were married got divorced, while only 23% of couples who moved in after marriage got divorced. Now this seems like a big discrepancy. It seems like, you know, this is a big problem. 34% versus 23, we're looking at 11% increase. I'm not saying that's a huge increase, but it is significant enough. It makes you think and wonder, is cohabitation the problem? Now, I think what really is the problem here, why we see these numbers, is because the people who don't believe in cohabitation and rather wait till marriage to move in are the type of people who are religious, typically. The type of people who want to wait are the type of people that are religious, and those type of people typically don't even believe in divorce in the first place. They don't even want to get divorced. That's not part of their ethic code. It's not part of the morals. People with high morals have high morals. But I'm not saying cohabitation is like some low morality. In fact, it makes a lot of sense that after, you know, you live with somebody for so long, you get divorced. It just makes sense. Now, what they don't mention in this study is the amount of people that never get married but stay in a cohabitation relationship. I wasn't able to find numbers on that. And I think that's a big consideration, because a lot of people don't get married nowadays. A lot of people move in and just stay with their boyfriend and girlfriend for however many years. They also did not ask why these divorces happened. Was it because of cheating? Was it because of, you know, lifestyle, how people were moving around? Because why you break up is a big factor into whether or not it was because of cohabitation. If somebody broke up with you and because of cheating, then it's not because you were living together and they saw how you were living and then they decided. No, it's because you have a personality trait. It's because you're untrustworthy. That's what it really is. Now, if somebody doesn't have a good time managing their money, and you only find that out after you move in, well, now that's a big problem. You could have figured that out before you even got up in there. But because, again, people like to show their best face when they're not comfortable. If you're not comfortable with somebody, you're gonna put on your best performance every time. So once you get to move in with somebody, they're gonna drop their guard and you're gonna see their flaws for what they truly are. And I wish the paper really put out the reasons why these people got divorced or split up. I don't think these numbers on their own are enough to explain whether or not cohabitation is the problem here. I think cohabitation is still the best way to make sure that you are marrying somebody who is actually compatible with you. You can, sure, go ahead and get married without cohabitation. But if you're not a religious person, odds are you're going to get divorced anyway, because 23% of them end up divorced anyway. Like I said again, it's not a big difference. It's only 11%. If it was like a 30 or 40% different, then I'll be like, yeah, it's definitely because of cohabitation then. But it's only like 10 or 11, so you're still running the risk of getting divorced whether you get into the house after marriage or before marriage. And the difference between it is only 10%. You only have 10% more of a chance of not getting married, which isn't that big of a benefit to you. It's really not. Not when there's other benefits on the table, like learning who that person is and not getting married to them at all. Especially as a man, not getting married and learning first is going to be a big saver for you later on, so you don't have to go through that whole court case. So you don't have to pay out money that you worked hard for. So I still think that this stands alone as one of the best ways to go about getting married. Now, we're gonna listen to one gentleman. He has some pretty good stats that I wasn't able to find, but he has some good stats and we're gonna talk about him.
Living together before marriage is the worst thing you can do for your relationship. This isn't just a Bible take, it's scientific. Let me show you. Couples who live together before marriage are significantly more likely to cheat, break up, experience violence, and divorce. One major review found couples who cohabited were 80% more likely to divorce than those who didn't. With regard to kids, only 1 in 3 children of cohabited parents stay in a stable home through the age of 12. For married parents, nearly 3 in 4. Ironically, cohabitation is sold as practice for marriage, but studies show it just decreases marital satisfaction, increases conflict, and increases infidelity. No study has ever found that cohabitation improves marriage. Also, what's often left out is that studies show that men benefit from cohabitation, but women are significantly disadvantaged. So ladies, it's in your best interest to not give your boyfriend wifey privileges. A big reason why this is all the case is because marriage is a public vow, and public vows change behavior. How we make judges, presidents, soldiers swear oaths because commitment should be costly. Cohabitation trains you to treat love as conditional. Researchers call it sliding, not deciding, because you drift into marriage rather than choosing it. What you just slide into, you're more likely to just slide out of. Christianity taught all of this before modern studies confirmed it. God's design is not arbitrary, it's protective. God bless.
God's design is fucking Now, if you listen to him, you think those stats are pretty scary, right? But I'm gonna say this again. The type of people that wait to move in before getting married are typically Christians, are typically religious, typically traditional people. These typically traditional people typically live traditional lives, so they don't believe in marriage. Even though it sucks, even though they may not be happy, they're still gonna stick it out. Even if they have kids, they're still gonna stick it out. Because they believe in traditional values. They rather keep living what other people told them to live, how other people been living before. They rather stick to that than actually think for themselves and apply what's best for them in their situation. And he brought up the kids situation where 3 and 4 kids that are born and raised in houses that were not cohabited before the parents got married. He mentioned that they stick together longer, that those kids have happy, healthy households. And the kids on the other side don't. Again, this is a discrepancy in values and beliefs. Nowadays, people don't believe in the Bible as much, even though there is a resurgence within Gen Z. There is still a good amount of people who don't believe in that. I talk to people in my community all the time, and yeah, they truly don't believe in that in urban areas. In urban areas, traditionalism is going down for sure. So these people are not looking to the Bible to say, oh, okay, just put up with all your husband's bullshit. Oh, okay, just put up with all your device bullshit because getting divorced is actually adultery. They're not gonna believe that, so they're gonna go ahead and get divorced. They're gonna go ahead and, slide out of situations that are not benefiting them, that are not serving them. What you're teaching on the opposite side is go ahead and get married, go ahead and propose to somebody that you don't really truly know all the way. That's what you're proposing. And then if those problems, you see problems because you didn't know that person all the way, just stick it out. Just stick it out, because that's the Christian belief. You're not supposed to get divorced unless there's cheating or some type of, high problem within the relationship. He also mentioned that couples that cohabitate before marriage often experience more cheating and domestic violence and stuff like that. I can only find those statistics from the paper that he sourced. I could not find that anywhere else. So I'm not sure where these statistics really come from. And even if they were true, I'm gonna again point that back to the change in value system. Christians typically believe that you're not supposed to do that type of stuff, while other people do. That they don't have those same moral constrictions that other people have. There is a clear separation, and I would like for a study to come out that really shows the real reasons why these couples are getting divorced after marriage. Because if you're still seeing cheating in these Christian households, then it doesn't matter really. If you're still seeing lying and scamming in the Christian households, then it doesn't really matter. Now, if the problems are something like she doesn't clean every day, then I understand that. Because once you move in, a man is going to expect a woman to perform some duties. And you can call them wifely duties, but if you're living with somebody, especially if that somebody is paying all the bills, then it's really just being a good co-roommate. It's just being a good roommate, really. It's not about giving wifey duties, but I do want to see how you behave as a wife before we get into this marriage, because what if you don't do any of those things? Ever? What if or better yet, what if we cohabitate and I see that you do these things, but then we get married and then you stop doing those things? I'll have even more reason to be mad at you. I'll be like, oh yeah, she really did change up after we married. She really did. Or if I cohabitate with you before marriage and I see that you don't cook and clean, I can be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna marry this woman because she's lazy. She doesn't help around the house. Now, I had a situation kind of like that where she didn't clean as much. She cooked a lot. But she didn't clean as much. And it was okay. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just clean up a little bit. I didn't see it as wifey duties. I didn't see it as something that only a woman should do. I saw it as, this is our home, this is where we're laying our head, this is where we're sharing space together. We both have to make sure we're doing the best. We're both going to work, so we both should clean, we both should cook. I don't expect her to do everything just because she works a little less. I don't know. It's a strange dynamic, and it's also about how you view marriage. I don't want to shift goalposts or topics too much, but it's also about how you view marriage. I want to get married. Don't get me wrong. I want to get married, but I don't think I would ever get married through the state. I don't think it would ever be like an official document, but at one point, I do want to settle down with one woman, be with that one woman for the rest of my life. These people see marriage as something totally different. They see it as some type of contract with them and Sky Daddy. It's those two and Sky Daddy in the relationship, and Sky Daddy has a whole bunch of rules and regulations that you have to follow to the T. So I really don't view marriage as that. I don't see it as some type of legally bonding. You have to be with this person forever, because people change, because people have make different choices in their life as time goes on, and you might not always agree with this one person. You might not always want to stick it out with this one person. It's a nice idea. It is a nice idea, but I don't believe there's any Sky Daddy watching me and making sure that my life unfolds the way I want it to unfold. I believe I have to go out into this chaotic unknown world and make whatever I can make of it. I don't believe in rules. I don't believe in laws, morality, good or bad. So I also don't think that it is a good or bad thing to move in or out. I just see the results of everything. And so far, the statistics, the statistical value, the discrepancy between those who cohabitate and those who do not before marriage isn't showing any real big problems. Isn't showing any real big difference in whether or not that relationship is gonna last. You have a 10% more chance of it lasting if you wait versus if you don't. And then again, I chalk that 10% up, I had chalked that all up to the fact that the people who wait are typically Christians in America, or typically just religious and don't believe in that stuff. They see it as adultery to be with somebody that you're not married to. Even though you might not do anything like that, you are still committing adultery in some Christians' eyes if you decide to cohabitate before marriage. And I think it's ridiculous. How are you gonna tell me this is some type of sexual sin? And that's another thing. They view sexuality as like an inherent quality flaw. They view it as a sinful thing. They view their whole nature as sinful, and that's why you have to separate yourself from temptation. You can't cohabitate with a woman because that's temptation. You might fornicate. But it's like, nah, bro, there is no Sky Daddy. There's just evolution. We're just here on this planet and nobody has any rules. We're making it up, bro. Humans are making it up as we go. But let me know what you think about this situation. I could definitely talk about it a little more. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you for watching. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I got more videos just like this. We talk about culture, dating, and music, stuff like that. I tried to start another channel, but I don't think I'm gonna do that just because I really want to put some more time into this one. I'm working on 2 videos right now. One is about rap and one about black dating culture. They're about an hour longer projects, so I really need some support on that, guys. Anyway, you're gonna see when they come out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, guys. And with a lot of retrendance and traditional values amongst Gen Z, what did I say? And with the resurgence of traditional values within with the resurgence of traditional values amongst with the resurgence of